Welcome back to Squawk Box this morning. Shares of retailer Kohls, they are spiking this morning. This after a report from the Wall Street Journal that a group of activist investors with a nearly 10% stake in the company are attempting to take control of the board. Joining us right now is the reporter behind that scoop, Cara Lombardo, M&A reporter at the Wall Street Journal. Good morning to you. Tell us about where this stands and where you think it's headed.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And what we know right now is that this group of activists, 4 of them in total, have been in talks with Kohl since late last year. Together, they own 9.5% of the company. So collectively, they're the largest shareholder Kohl's has. And they've been trying to press some of their ideas for how Kohl's can boost its margins. So whether this goes all the way to a proxy fight this spring or whether the two sides come to some sort of settlement agreement, that's kind of what we're going to find out in the coming weeks.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. In terms of whether you think a settlement is in the offing, sometimes the strategy is bring these guys in under the tent and I don't want to say muzzle them, but bring them in under the tent and therefore they're more controllable to some degree. The other is let the fight play out. How do you see that playing out?
Yeah, you're exactly right, Andrew. I mean, a similar group, 3 of the 4, last year, or 2 years ago, rather, ran a proxy fight at Bed Bath & Beyond. Bed Bath & Beyond eventually struck an agreement to give them some board seats. Now, with Kohl's, the next thing to keep an eye on is that Kohl's fourth quarter results will be out early next month. So I'd be surprised if anything major happened before that. That would be a good point for Kohl's to kind of tell their story once more to shareholders, and then we'll see what comes after that.
Is there a potential white knight in this scenario? And when I say white knight, is there somebody who wants to buy Kohl's? There's been rumors for years about whether an Amazon would, but take them out of the picture. Is there somebody who would want to actually get involved in this, or is this too much of a turnaround story?
I mean, that's an interesting question and definitely something that the two of us will probably be tracking closely. That's what's so exciting about activism campaigns. Anything can happen at any time. It's the outcome is not predetermined and a range of things can unfold. But, for the most part, I think right now the focus, at least for this campaign, is not an M&A story. It seems to be more of a really operational story that they're pushing for changes operationally at the moment.
So when you see the stock jump nearly 8% on the back of that story, you think that's strictly that there's a view among investors that this group of activists can actually materially change the underlying business? Or do you think people look at this and say, okay, this company's now in play?
It's an interesting question. I mean, one of the elements that we reported in our story is that the activists are considering whether Kohl's should potentially, do sale leasebacks for some of their major real estate holdings that are not core to the business. So perhaps some of those ideas are what are getting investors so excited this morning.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.